I am in Drumnadrochit and I'm starting the Affric Kintail Way here, which should take me about 4 days. The Affric Kintail Way is supposed to be really well waymarked, so of course I brought a map and I also have the route on my phone, but yeah, supposedly the waymarking should be really good and easy to follow. I arrived here in Drumnadrochit close to 12, so I had my lunch in a lovely deli and now I have half a day left to walk. I have 5 days in total, so usually it takes about 4 days to complete this trail. So I have plenty of time, so I'll just walk today as far as I want to walk. And then I can either wild camp, or if I get all the way to the next village, there's a campsite there. The route is starting really nicely through some wooded area. First some very spines and now some birch wood. Behind me is the famous Loch Ness. I didn't really see the loch from the village, and I think this is also one of the only and perhaps the last views over Loch Ness. I think I've walked for around 1 hour, and most of it has been on this broad kind of forestry track through these woodlands with all this bird sound, and it's really nice. Only just when I started, there was one group of backpackers and another group of day hikers. But that was just in the very beginning of walking the Affric Kintail Way. After that, I haven't seen anybody anymore. So it's really nice and peaceful and quiet. I arrived at a parking where there are some picnic areas, so I'm taking my first break here. I got crisps which did not fit in my backpack at all, so I'm gonna start eating them now. But yeah, so far the trail's really nice. It's easy to walk. It started quite going up, so it was quite a tough start, but trail wise and like the path, the track is really easy to walk. I think it's close to 3 o'clock, which means I'll walk for another maybe 2 hours, see where I'm at that point, if I want a wild camp or if I'm close to the campsite. I don't know, we'll see. And I am pretty tired, so I wouldn't mind finding a nice spot anytime soon. There used to be from this point quite a bit of a road walk, but they've completed a new route that kind of avoids the road, so that is good news. It's much more difficult to find a suitable camp spot than I thought it would be. Mainly because like I'm walking on this very clear track, but around it It's just full of heather and young trees, so there just isn't any empty space to pitch a tent. So I still have to keep going. Not in not too long I'll reach a river, and the spot kind of follows the river for a while, so I'm hoping that somewhere along the river there might be a good spot. Because if I get even lower, I get more and more towards the village of Kintail, and before that it seems very boggy on my map, so not too suitable for camping either. And I also don't want to go that much further. I'm pretty tired. So yeah, let's hope that the river offers some good spots, or just one good spot for me and my tent. I think this is my camp for tonight. I'm not overly excited about this spot, because mainly it's right next to like the access route for the fields behind me, and it is used because I can see cattle, sheep tracks, and tracks of like a quad bike or something. Not necessarily from today, but yeah, it is being used by like a farmer. But there just hasn't been any other flat spots, yeah, at all. And I walked a little bit further down the path along the water because I am next to the river that I mentioned earlier. But even walking further down, there was just no space for any tent. It was just uneven ground, trees, heather, boggy stuff. So yeah, not really suitable for a camp. So my tent is up. It's also much later than I thought it would be. It's already 5:30, so I'm gonna have my dinner. Overall today it was quite challenging. I did a lot more than I intended to, but mostly because I just was not able to find a good camp spot in all those like forestry areas. So yeah, I think I would have preferred to stop already, like at least an hour earlier than I now actually did. But overall the route was really nice. A lot of, yeah, the forestry areas, a lot of woodlands, beautiful views over these quite far away mountains with still some snow on the peaks, which was just beautiful. And it's very quiet. Yeah, I've hardly seen anyone, a few day hikers, but also very few. So it's a very quiet trail so far. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the rest of it. Hopefully I'll have a good night's sleep. I just removed the first tick from my stomach, so hopefully that's the only one. It was very tiny, so I didn't feel it. I just saw it like with a bit of a red spot around it. I can see that there's ticks on the outside of my tent now as well, so hopefully that's where they stay. Although I do have some holes in like the ground sheet of my tent, which they could easily come in through, but hopefully that won't be the case. So yeah, I have to be very careful and checking myself again in the morning to make sure I don't have any ticks that I did not spot. Oh, it's a cold morning. It's a clear blue sky, so that's probably why it feels so cold. It wasn't as cold when I went to sleep. It just suddenly in the middle of the night I woke up and it was just freezing, or it felt like it was freezing. But yeah, I slept pretty well despite being surrounded by ticks. The sun is shining around me, but not on my tent, so I will be packing a wet tent, like wet from the condensation. It is just after 7 and I'm all packed up and ready to go. I hope I did not pack any ticks in with me, although there probably will be some inside my tent. So I need to pay attention when I pitch it again later today. So it's really nice and sunny, so I'm gonna find a nice sunny spot where I can have my breakfast, which sounds like a lot, but it's just a super juice that I packed out and a breakfast bar. So far, I've been walking like every once in a while in the sunshine, but I'm now about to drop down into Kanich, and the whole village is covered by a cloud. So I got to Kanich, which took me about an hour and a half, which is longer than I thought it would take me. But for first stop is toilets. So the toilets are in this village hall, which seems to be open like 24/7 and is really, really nice. So if it's pouring out and you need someplace to hide, this is a good spot. Next stop, the cafe.
Okay. Oranges, was it? Yeah.
Third and last stop, the shop. I don't really need anything, but this is the only shop along the trail, so there's not going to be any facilities whatsoever from now until the end of the trail. There's only going to be two like parking areas where there's supposed to be like public toilets, but that is it. So I'm just gonna go inside, see if anything looks nice. Although my bag is full, so I don't really have a lot of space to carry a lot of extra food. But I'm just gonna go in and see what they got. The route is very quiet. The only other people I've seen were a few cars, which I don't know exactly what they were doing up here. And mountain bikers. I haven't seen a single hiker on this trail at all so far. It's still mostly following like forestry, woodlands, and on this forestry track. So it's very easy to walk, very easy to follow. It's only noon now, and I've walked half of what I wanted to walk. So I don't know why. I feel rushed. Like I want to get this trail over quickly. I don't know why, because I'm not in a rush. And also my bus that I booked doesn't leave until Friday morning, and it is Sunday today. If I walk more quickly, it will only mean that I have longer to wait at like a campsite before I can actually go home. So it doesn't make any sense to be rushing, but for some reason I feel like, yeah, not very calm. So I'm using the Harvey Affric Kintail Way map, and this is yesterday's route. And today, so this is where I started in Kanich, and I am now here at these parking facilities. which is kind of halfway of today's route and map. And then there's going to be another parking with facilities tomorrow, so I'm planning to camp somewhere not too far but before these facilities, so I can get there in the morning. I'm gonna have my lunch, maybe not all of it yet, but at least half of the bread and cheese that I have for today's lunch. So lunch is cheese. I have a whole lot of cheese, which is quite heavy, and white pitas. So I have 2 for lunch. I'm just gonna have one right now and save the other one for later. Just some 10-meter up some steps from the main trail, there's this awesome viewpoint, which is like signposted as well. But man, this is cool. I did not expect it to be, I don't know, these many mountains and with snow, and it's very, very cool. From that viewpoint earlier, I started following this loch behind me, which is stunning. It's very rugged with all these islands and these rocks just coming out of the water. I'm still a bit elevated, but I think soon the path is gonna go down to actually walk more or less at the water level, so the views would be much better now, because now it's a bit obscured by trees, um, but it seems beautiful. The route actually stays much higher from the water than I thought. So most of the time there's trees in between the path and the loch, which right now I can see the loch plenty. But if you walk this in like midsummer when all the beech trees are like fully green, I think you'll see only very, very little, just a glimpse every once in a while of the beautiful loch, which is kind of a shame. I'm starting to see some camp spots here and there. It's just past 3, so I'm not camping just yet, but at least there are opportunities. So this is just a second spot I've really noticed, but I'm sure there's gonna be more coming. So yeah, I'm pretty confident I'll find a good spot for tonight. I saw this really nice looking beach earlier, but there was not like the most obvious path going down, so I thought I'll walk a little further, see if there's a better place. But yeah, I don't think there is, so I'm just gonna go back, which is I think about 200, 300 meters. I walked a bit further than I like said to myself that I would, to just let's see if there's a better place. But yeah, that was really quite nice. At least it looked nice from the track. If not, then there was a river really nearby where clearly people have been camping before. So I'll use that as my backup. This was the other place I saw, which was actually more than 200 meters backtracking, which is a fine enough space next to a river and the bridge that goes over the river here. But from here you don't see anything of the loch, and I do kind of want a good view. So I'm just gonna go back a little further. I think it was, I don't know, maybe 20 meters, and see if I can make my way down to that beach I saw. This is pretty cool. So, I mean, right immediately here is a good spot, but I'm just gonna see around the bend, see what's there. But wow, look at this. The beach there is just like stones and sand, so I think I'll pitch where I left my bag because there's a bit of like grass behind it. My tent is up. There were still quite a few ticks on there, especially like teeny tiny ones that you can barely see. I think I got them all off of me, but I definitely need to do another tick check later today. I don't think there will be ticks specifically here because of, I don't know, just different and no livestock here either. So I'll just try and get rid of as many of them that are still on my tent and then start putting my stuff inside. So today was a pretty good day. It was a very quiet walk. Today I've seen only one couple doing the trail in the opposite direction from what I'm doing. I haven't seen any other backpackers, and there were a few like day hikers around that parking area where I had my lunch break. But kind of beyond that viewpoint, which was fairly close to the parking, I've not really seen anyone, only two cyclists. Yeah, I haven't seen anyone else, so it's very, very quiet here. It's kind of strange that it's so quiet here. I'm having these weird sensations while walking on this trail, like this sense of needing to rush. And also, here, even though it's beautiful, I feel like this nervousness for some reason. Like something is gonna go wrong. I have no idea why. I mean, I don't have any network coverage where I am at the moment, so I can't really do anything or check anything. But the next parking with the toilet facilities is just 1.5 kilometers from here, I think. Um, so even if something might happen, I have no idea what. But the road is not that far away, it's just 1.5 kilometers. But I don't know. I'm just having strange feelings. Maybe it's just because it's so quiet and I'm not really used to things being this quiet. Like barely seeing any walkers during the day, not seeing any people camping. It's just been very, very quiet. So maybe that's just why I feel a bit unnerved. Good morning. It is about 6 o'clock, and well, basically, I couldn't sleep anymore, so I just decided to start packing up. It rained a little bit during the night, but it's very calm now this morning. There's almost no wind, there's just bird song, but it is definitely more cloudy with some low hanging clouds, although they are starting to kind of lift, it seems. A bit different from yesterday, but hopefully it will just stay dry. Um, so yeah, I'm just gonna finish packing up and then head to the parking where there's the toilet facilities. Sit down and have my breakfast there, and I don't know, we'll see. I'm all packed up and it's time to say goodbye to this beautiful spot here. So the route itself doesn't actually pass the car park, but I'm gonna make a small detour just to go there. It's very close by, I'm not sure. Maybe like 200 meters walk. those deer were huge. I arrived at the parking. There's quite a few cars here, even though there's a no overnight parking sign. But I'm gonna go to the toilets and then find a good spot for my breakfast. That looks like a nice spot for breakfast. So that is the direction in which I'm headed, where it may or may not be raining. It's almost 7:30 and I'm back on the trail. So yeah, it should be a good day today. It starts again along a loch, this time Loch Affric, and then it goes through this beautiful glen. Yeah, it should be pretty much like rocky moorland, as opposed to the mostly forested areas I've been in so far. So yeah, it should be good. Distance I spotted the first tent, but they won't be doing the trail because they're on the wrong side of the loch. But I really thought I would see tents, or at least people up early in the morning hiking, because staying around that parking area kind of would make sense, but I haven't seen a single person or a single tent anywhere. So it looks this far side of Loch Affric is where the people camp. It does look like quite an idyllic spot. It's starting to drizzle a little, so I have to pack up my camera. It's not raining enough for waterproofs yet because it's pretty warm and I'm sweaty, so if I wear those waterproofs I'll get more wet from sweat than from the actual rain. So I'm just gonna keep walking like this, but it is quite stunning here, like especially maybe because of those clouds that are so low. It just gives these great atmospheres, like a bit of, I don't know, mystique or something. It's really beautiful, and it's such a contrast to the first 2 days where it was mostly like woods and plantations. So it's beautiful, and I'm only just starting this glen here, so it's, I don't know, I think it's only gonna get better. If you want to stay in this hostel for your last night, you can. I looked it up, there were no beds available for tonight, but it kind of looks like there's no one around whatsoever. But next week there were definitely some beds, so they are opening soon. Maybe there's just something this weekend, I don't know. This is, according to the description on my map, the most remote hostel in the Highlands. So that's something. Terrain has been more tricky, especially after that hostel where it's more boggy, a bit more up and down and more rocky. So no longer the nicely prepared forest tracks of the earlier parts of the Affric Kintail Way. Behind me is a little bothy, and this is the only one along the trail. So I don't see anyone walking around or about, but I'm gonna go check it out, see if anyone's there. Well, it doesn't really matter. If it's nice, I'll have my lunch there. If not, I'll probably have my lunch there, and either way. It's quite a nice bothy, but it's dark, quite dark. And also it smells a bit smoky. There's 2 spaces with bunk beds, a fireplace and some area to sit. I don't think I would have stayed here inside by myself. It is a bit dark and creepy. If I would be with others, I would stay here, but not alone, I don't think. So I will have my lunch here, but I'll just sit outside because, well, it's dry at the moment and it's just too dark inside and a bit smelly of like the smoke smell. But the location is really awesome. If I would be with others, I would definitely try and stay here because it's beautiful, but not just me by myself. While sitting here having my bread and cheese, I was thinking like where to go today, because originally I had planned to camp somewhere around this bothy. But since I left so early this morning, I am here. It's only 11:30. So, well, it would be really nice to spend another day like outside, enjoying this beautiful glen. It's only about 3, maybe let's say 3.5 hours to the end of the trail, where there's a campsite, where there's a cafe. So that's kind of tempting as well. And I would get there for like 3, somewhere between 3 and 4, let's say, including maybe some breaks. So I'll get there still at a very reasonable time to just relax. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Like, I didn't mean to rush this trail because there's no point, and I want to enjoy all of this because it's just beautiful, and I am enjoying it. Um, but yeah, I've been going a lot quicker than I should have. Um, so yeah, I think now, since the campsite and the cafe has now come up in my mind, I can't let it go. So I think that's where I'm heading today, this evening, I guess, to already the finish of the trail after only starting it the day before yesterday. But it's beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. I can't believe that there's just so few people here, because it's such a well maintained path. It's such a well waymarked. It's 4 days walking. So that's kind of an intermediate distance. And it's just beautiful. So I really don't know why there's not a lot more people out here. I just saw a trail runner going in the opposite direction, which is not very important, but to me kind of reassuring that I'm not the only one out here. But here there's a beautiful mountain, and I'm gonna go on that side of it, I think, to go towards the finish. but it's so beautiful out here. I had been walking upriver, but here somewhere there was like water coming down from the mountain, and now I'm starting to walk downriver again, so that is pretty cool. And the views, the mountains here are even more spectacular, like the peaks, the clouds, the ruggedness. It's really, really awesome. There's a cottage there. I didn't notice any on my map, but maybe it's just beyond the bridge, because I had the bridge as my next kind of waypoint in mind. So maybe that's why I didn't notice it. It looks very cute there. I'm now at the bridge I mentioned earlier, and that house I saw is just very nearby. But it's already here, even though I still need to walk, I think it's about 7.5 kilometers, so close to 2 hours probably. But already it feels like the landscape is much less rugged, and it seems that after that house there, the route is gonna follow more of a track again rather than that footpath, which was very stony and very slippery in this weather as well. So even when going down, I still had to go quite slowly just to make sure I didn't slip and fall, which did happen once. But luckily my backpack kind of caught my fall, so I didn't hurt anything. So indeed, from that hut earlier, it's just a very easygoing track through mostly pasture. There's a lot of sheep around, and knowing that the end is inside, my feet are now so painful. I still need to walk maybe 30 minutes. I'm not really sure, something like that. So I'm not even done yet, Mom, but I think often that's something like psychological. When knowing you're almost there, then your body kind of starts to let you know of all the places where it hurts. So I guess that's what's happening now. My feet are quite painful. The campsite is clearly here behind me. So I need to go to the entrance, but also there must be like a first way marker for the trail to like signify the finish or start, since there was one at the other side. So hopefully it's not going to be past the campsite, because I don't want to walk anymore. I guess this route map here of the Affric Kintail Way will be the official finish for my walk. I am at the campsite ready to pitch my tent, took off my boots, which makes such a good difference, but I can't wait to just relax.